Speaking of people who've turned into wrestling journalists, Kevin Nash, you mentioned this earlier that there was an earlier controversy where Kevin Nash and some other people online who have podcasts were talking about LA Knight maybe doing a Rock or Stone Cold ripoff. Apparently, this comes to us from WrestleZone here. Kevin Nash, I talked to LA Knight at WWE SummerSlam. There was no heat between us. So, hey, bygones be bygones. Everybody knows how the business works. Even if you at some point don't get along with somebody, you can kind of patch it up. And Nash later apologized for what he said. Speaking on his Click This podcast, I looked over my shoulder. I saw LA Knight sitting at a table. I went over, said hi to his guys said hi to the guys at the time. None of them I'd ever met before. LA Knight was sitting at the end of the table. I sat down at the table behind him. I turned around. I just said, "So you finally get to F and go over tonight?" He goes, "Something like that."
Yeah.
There you go. We talked, and I asked, because he was working with Logan Paul, I asked him just how it was to work with Logan Paul. Is he a natural? Is he a paint by numbers? He gave me his opinion on how he handled the situation. Not for me to explain on the show, because he doesn't want to see. He still wants to keep kayfabe there, especially since this is not even kayfabe. This is behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nash doesn't want to leak stuff that he's not involved in. So good for him. He still respects the business. But this is good. So they patched it up. There was legitimate heat at one point. Nash used it for his podcast. LA Knight brilliantly used it on a SmackDown in a great promo.
Yeah, I think it's
great promo that showed you that LA Knight really has arrived.
That really was one that showed you LA Knight arrived. And at the end of the day, like, hey, it's Kevin Nash. He runs a podcast. He's going to have to make some opinions about people. That was his opinion at the time. Yep. And I think since then, his opinions obviously had to have changed because he sees how over he is. And it's good that he gave you like, "Oh, yeah, hey, man, what's going on?" "Oh, nothing." Like, they don't really hate each other. It's all, it's not like he would hate him for saying that, and then he would hate him for also doing that promo. It's part of the business, right? It's entertainment.
Sean Ricker's been in the indies and everything for so long. He wasn't holding it as a grudge. I think it was out there. It was publicized. He had to address it, and he used it in character to get himself over.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was a perfect thing to say.
Yeah.
If you didn't know what he was talking about, then it just looked like LA Knight being a brash jerk like he was at the time, and kind of still is a little, even though he gets cheered. And if you knew what he was talking about, it was the perfect answer.
Yep.
So this stuff happens sometimes, and all's well that ends well. Let's get into some other stuff from podcasts here. This comes to us from a Cinema Blend. Dominic Mysterio was on Logan Paul's podcast, and Logan Paul and his crew are asking him stuff about, what does your wife think about you being in these romance angles? And Dominic's just kind of out of character. He's out of his heel character, giving the answer, I do what I do on TV. And his wife is basically, she does a good job of separating work and real life stuff. She gets the split. She understands the difference from when I'm on TV and I'm Dirty Dom, and when I come home and I'm her husband, Dominic. She does a good job of separating work and real life and stuff. There you go.
I like that. Rhea Ripley licked my face. The first text I got from her was, "There's a tarantula in our garage."
Right, there you go.
She doesn't care at all.
Probably looked at him going, "Ew."
Yeah, she doesn't care at all because they are actors and performers.
And really, they're doing just weird, goofy stuff.
Yeah, that's not even that. Yeah, right. He's
licking the side of his face.
And she's married too.
Maybe the smooch with Liv Morgan was kind of getting there, like getting into like acting a little more demonstratively, but like,
yeah,
a weird goth chick licking the side of your face. Like, I don't know too many people would be jealous of that. There's a few people who'd really be into that, but the rest of them, I don't know, they'd be too jealous of that. So this was apparently a fun interview on Logan Paul's Impaulsive podcast. Dominic Mysterio has not been a major singles title holder. He briefly had the NXT title, North American title, I believe, last year. Logan Paul, of course, just had a U.S. title run where it got some mixed reviews. He only had 3 title defenses, one of which he lost. But on the other hand, he was bringing the title belt with him and talking about it on all of his other media. So it really put a spotlight on that belt. So, it's been sort of a very polarizing title run for Logan Paul. At some point during this interview, Logan Paul and his buddy ask Dominic Mysterio about going to Japan, and Dominic then turns on Logan Paul and says, "Hey, you got to go to Japan."
Do you want me to show you this?
Because Logan Paul has been, well, he doesn't go to Japan anymore, does he?
Hang on, Dom, I'll show it.
Okay, is there a reason why he doesn't go to Japan?
I just came back from Japan
let's do it.
Last week.
Great place.
Like,
nice.
it was really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys had fun.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
We've been hoping to go there.
All right.
Logan Paul is asking to be invited to the party. Please invite me to Japan. Please?
Please.
I don't just want to go. I want to be invited. Please invite me to Japan.
How good was Dom? Kind of just first he's asking, did you go to Japan? And it's supposed to be like real subtle. He's like, oh no. He's like, I didn't go. I was really busy. Oh, you should have went to Japan. Are you shadow banned in Japan?
Oh, you want a list? Yeah.
List. Japan. And he's like, you should wear the hat because he had like a Pikachu hat on while he was doing all this stuff. So it's a reference to the video that he made. He was wearing like a Pikachu hat.
Oh, so he knows what's going on.
Yeah, he referenced.
Oh, he really is Dirty Dominic Mysterio. He had that in his back pocket and he was saving it.
Now, Dom, does that
he
mean
brought brass knucks to the podcast and he was just waiting to slip them on?
Is Dirty Dom, is that a heel move or a face move?
Well, he did it to a heel.
Yeah. He did it to a heel.
I don't know. I think it's a double heel move here.
It's a double heel move. Yeah, he's topping the heel, right?
It's heel on heel.
It's heel on heel stuff, yeah. It's like if they were wrestling each other and then he cheated. But yeah, he definitely got him. Got him pretty good. You can see he was a little upset there, and I don't know if that was a work or a shoot, but he was a little upset.
I love Japan. I'm not banned. I'm not banned. Of course I can go. I can go anytime I want. I love it there. I love it. It's clean. They're clean. They're very clean people. It's like an arcade game. I love it. I love Japan. I actually love it. No, I'm not banned there. I just want someone to invite me there. Please invite me to Japan because I love it. And I'm not on a list and I can go there anytime I want.
Yeah, I love Japan. It's amazing. Like, why wouldn't you go? It's probably because you can't.
Yeah.
And he didn't do the show in WWE either, too, when they were over there. And that's what they were saying.
Maybe WWE was trying to keep him away for their first trip over to Japan in a while.
We don't need this guy ruining everything.
We don't need this.
Much like before, they wouldn't let Sami Zayn go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, like Sami wouldn't go because, yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Interestingly, though, that Saudi Arabia tour, they let Goldberg go, and he's Jewish. So he was like, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, he was freaked out there, but they let him go.
Interesting. Yeah. International, who's allowed to go where and who's not welcome where and whatever. It's tough to run a global business.
Yeah.
When you've got markets all over the world and you've got to deal with this stuff every time you cross the imaginary lines.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, maybe Logan Paul, maybe someone will invite him there.
You're
like, Logan, I hear you love Japan. I hear you love it. I hear you actually love it. It's like a video game. I hear you love it.
I love how he said it's like a video game. What does that mean?
Yeah, he loves video games, apparently. Like, that's the high, like, isn't that the best? That's the highest compliment Logan Paul could think of to give to it. I love it. I actually love it. It's like a video game.
He loves video games like Crypto Zoo, that awesome game that he stole all
It's
the
like a
money from the
totally
kids.
over caffeinated energy drink that I market to middle schoolers. Like, I love it. I love it so much.
Right.
AJ Styles, someone who went to Japan. This comes to us from comingsoon.net. His SmackDown return kind of got scrapped here. AJ Styles, he probably doesn't have much time left. He said that he doesn't want to wrestle forever. We've talked about wrestlers as they get older changing their wrestling repertoire to fit their age. AJ doesn't seem to do that and hasn't had to do that yet. He seems to be wanting to go out on his own terms before he has to become a different wrestler. So any delays could be really, really significant delays. He was scheduled to return on SmackDown in Tulsa, Oklahoma. However, the show featured appearances by Roman Reigns, who attacked the new Bloodline members. AJ did not make his anticipated return. So, it wasn't the right time to bring Styles back. Following his scrap return, how should they bring back AJ Styles? He served a very important role as being Cody Rhodes' first feud with the title belt and allowing Cody to have 4.5 to 5-star matches with a guy right away and to look like, a world-class wrestler. So AJ Styles had a significant role to play there.
I got one for you.
Sure. What do you got?
Part of the John Cena retirement tour.
Okay.
Yeah. They used to have some pretty good matches back in the day. Cena
All
and
right.
AJ Styles.
Very good. Maybe AJ Styles and John Cena. That could be one of the John Cena retirement tour. He turned 47 in June, seems to be winding down his legendary career in professional wrestling. They, of course, love him in Japan. He does the face mask in Japan as well. He's huge over. I think you had filled me in that when he went to Japan maybe a decade ago or so, he was part of the original Bullet Club.
He was a leader of the Bullet Club and the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
There you go.
He was a top
everywhere.
guy. Yeah.
He's been a top guy in every federation he's wrestled in.
Yeah. He was a huge, way top guy in TNA, an extremely top guy in New Japan, and then came into WWE with kind of a mid-card, but then climbed his way to the top and was a WWE champ.
Former WWE champion AJ Styles.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's the guy. I want to see AJ have a good run, especially since he can still wrestle like AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're watching a cheap ripoff of the guy you remember. Like AJ Styles can still do it. I'd like to see AJ Styles have something to do. Yeah. So we'll start with Tony Khan and AEW. He gave an interview to TV Insider where he talked about not only the residency that they've had down in Texas, which was fantastic. Are you looking to do more residencies based on what you've seen in Arlington, Texas for Collision shows this summer? They've been there for a while, and the crowd has really taken to them. We talked about how tonight for SmackDown, it looked like Central Florida was really WWE country. They may have made Arlington, Texas AEW country with their current residency there. It was a big deal. They're also talking about All In coming up. Then just yesterday, they announced that sure enough, All In next year is going to be in the Arlington, Texas area at Globe Life Field.
Oh, wow. I thought they would always do the UK. That's crazy.
It's going to be a month earlier, July 12th next year. And it's going to be in Arlington. Now, this may be due to them having to schedule it when they're pretty sure the Texas Rangers will not need the field.
Okay.
This looks to be, before next year's Major League Baseball schedule gets published. This is All-Star break.
Oh, okay.
So they're no matter what happens with the Rangers schedule, they're pretty sure they can do it Saturday, July 12th.
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. I thought they would keep doing All In on that date in the UK, do that big stadium, but maybe it was a 2-year deal or they re-signed and maybe. I wonder what's cooking in the background here because I know they're very close to announcing this AEW deal with Time Warner, and maybe if you want to talk about that.
They are, and something like this would probably help them.
Yeah.
The fact that they are now scheduling their major pay-per-view of the year, not quite the way WWE schedules WrestleMania. I mean, maybe more along the lines of the way WWE does SummerSlam, where it's a big announcement a year in advance where they'll be next year. So, on the build to All In this year, which will be Sunday, August 25th, correct, from London?
Yep.
On the build to this year's All In, they're hyping up that, hey, they've already got next year's signed and lined up. Tony Khan also was talking about, you saw there a Saturday date. They're tending to do Sunday pay-per-views outside of NL season, but AEW is now pondering Saturday pay-per-views to not compete with the NFL. Makes sense because the Khans are an NFL family.
Yeah. That's a huge thing. It
Right?
also makes sense because it's impossible to compete with the NFL. They're monsters.
Right. And now WWE, it makes more sense because WWE's premium live event partner is NBC. And guess what NBC owns on Sunday nights?
Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football. There is no way Comcast NBC wants their two biggest moneymakers competing with each other, side by side there. No.
Right.
Split them up, do it differently. But for AEW to jump on the Saturday bandwagon, we've talked about this. We prefer the Saturday night pay-per-views to the Sunday nights, right?
100%. Saturday night.
Especially if you got to get up early for work on Monday morning, right?
Yeah, it's a Saturday night thing, and it's even more important for AEW that it's on Saturday night because now they do these pay-per-views and they just go on and on and on and on. And at the end of the day, it's like, we got to get the show over with, and it's going to be tough on a Sunday night. If it's a Sunday night, I don't watch the whole thing. I have to watch the half of it on Monday. So,
and WWE even is to the point where for it's not one of their big four, they're already doing 3-hour pay-per-views, and it's starting at 7 p.m. So they could almost do a Sunday night.
Right.
You're done by like 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, no, they're pretty early. I love the WWE pay-per-views. I wish the AEW pay-per-views were like that, where it's a couple of matches. They really bang it out, and it's not too long.
So good stuff here coming from Tony Khan from All In. Big news. You watch AEW. Have you been pleased with how they're building AEW here?
Yes.
Heading into All In, like the road to All In. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I really like the matchups they have going in with Swerve Strickland and Daniel Bryan in a retirement match, which means I'm hoping he wins and he beats Swerve Strickland, although I have been very happy with Swerve Strickland as the champ.
There's Daniel Bryan, big photo in this TV Insider article here. Yeah, they talked about the big match there.
They're going to do
your
Britt
retrospective
Baker.
On Bryan Danielson. There he is.
Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné is going to be good. Mercedes wrestled a match last week or this Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
She was an opener. They gave her 15 minutes. Her and the girl tore it down. They did a really good job. Shida is her name. She's a Japanese girl, but they tore it up. And I think there's a couple other matches that are in there. Oh, they do the Casino Battle Royale, which is a lot of fun. So basically, there's a casino. It's a big ladder match, and there's a casino chip up at the top, and whoever gets a casino chip gets the number. They're the number one contender. So it's like Money in the Bank, but you can't cash it in. It's like no, you win the rights to challenge anyone with the belt.
There you go. They talked about that as well. Casino Gauntlet match seems to be a big winner amongst AEW fans and observers. Yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned Britt Baker. MJF. This comes to us from Cultaholic.
Mm-hmm.
He addresses the AEW backstage confrontation with Britt Baker. We have covered this before, where MJF was apparently told that Britt Baker was talking crap about him by MJF's girlfriend, who was in the locker room, went to tell MJF. MJF went to the locker room. There were rumors that he punched a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way the story goes is MJF did not barge into the women's locker room. He knocked and asked if he could enter to kind of talk it out. And then he left, went down the hallway, and that's where he punched the wall. He wasn't doing it as a show in front of the women to try and intimidate them or anything. This was just, you got into something with your coworkers. MJF says in the interview here, "Tell me if this passes the smell test. I barge into a women's locker room. I scream in the face of a 110-pound woman. And then I physically threaten her by punching a wall in her vicinity. And I don't get suspended. Does that pass the smell test to you?" Almost everything that was written didn't happen. He's talking about those early reports that were up, not about the corrected versions that happened later. Everybody has coworkers at work they may not get along with. I have a feeling it was blown out of proportion. They need clickbait after he takes a few shots at the wrestling journalism, wrestling news media there.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit here and tell you that Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné at Wembley on August 25th is going to be an epic match. And we should all be excited to watch it. I don't have to like all my coworkers, and that's fine. So, yeah, he's saying, look, they're good at their jobs. I'm good at my jobs. We just, we don't like each other.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, that shit was wild to read.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes, he said that too.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it seemed like a work. And when it was a work, everyone kind of made up the story of what happened, which is just completely made up. And then everyone on Reddit was like, "Oh, AEW, all those backstage drama." And then it was a work. We got worked.
Well, but now it's turned into a shoot almost. Because now he's doing shoot interviews and he has to talk about it.
Right. So, it did turn into a shoot. What, like, why was that?
It could be a little of each, right? Like he could have a backstage disagreement with a coworker. Because this has happened before in AEW.
Yeah.
It's happened before in WWE that guys, they don't all get along.
But he's also a heel, so he should at least portray the image that he doesn't get along with people. He's a heel. So there's also the shoot aspect of it.
Is he back to being a heel? Because when he returned, it looked like he was getting cheers a lot.
Oh, no. He's full-blown heel.
Okay.
He bloodied up Danny Garcia. He beat the hell out of him. He started flipping off the crowd and everything like that. And now he's the American champ. He won the international belt.
Yes.
And he threw the international belt in the trash.
Threw it in the trash.
And made the American belt, and he's just been in the UK making fun of their teeth and how pasty they are.
Excellent.
Yes. There's a fantastic.
The truth hurts.
There's a fantastic interview I'll have to send you, even if you just watch a couple minutes of it. This poor interviewer is a very meek wrestling fan journalist, and there's big. And he's very meek, and he's very and MJF just starts ripping into him, and he's just like, okay.
Way too timid, and MJF smells blood in the water.
Yeah, and MJF just starts burying the UK.
Good for him. If the wrestling journals can't hang with you, then you've got to just go into character mode and shoot him down.
Yeah.
We talked about this. Dave Meltzer from wrestling. I forget what it's called. The WR News. Wrestling Observer.
Observer. Yeah.
He was talking about how they're being very careful with Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns, and we saw it tonight. Jacob Fatu only came back when the Bloodline was going to get the upper hand on Roman. He was not there when Roman got the upper hand on the Bloodline.
Mhm.
So they're being very careful. Lots of rumors here. We talked about it before. Go back and listen to the lead and the follow there earlier when we recapped SmackDown. We went through a little of fantasy booking, what's going to happen here with the Bloodline. But yeah, Jacob Fatu looks like he's an A-lister already. Like they're treating him that way.
Yeah, Dom, you got to be careful. You got to put an asterisk. This is a Dave Meltzer rumor, which are like always BS. Because they're not going to have them match up, and we saw them brawl tonight.
We did see them brawl, but on the other hand, like this is what they call being wrong in an important way. Like Meltzer's report was wrong, but it was wrong in an important way. He was wrong because he thought they wouldn't match up. But he was saying that because he was basically reporting that WWE Creative was trying to protect Jacob Fatu from being involved in a Roman Reigns beatdown. So he was wrong, but he was wrong in an important way because as it played out tonight, they only brought Jacob Fatu out when Roman was going to be on the receiving end of the beatdown.
We got a comment here. Greetings, Jet, from Rolex Panel Omega Addict.
Okay.
Greetings, gentlemen. Apparently, Damian Priest is dating Lana. I feel bad for my buddy Miro. It's a bad day, Rusev Day today.
Do you remember Miro and Rusev?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I vaguely remember them, and Lana was kind of their valet who would also take care of any women wrestlers.
Yeah, and they just got divorced like a year ago. So looks like he's dating Damian Priest.
Well, this is some cheap heat here.
This is some cheap heat, man. Rolex, you knew the assignment, actually, what you're telling us right now.
Because I usually ask at the end, is there anything we missed from Cheap Heat that you wanted us to talk about? Is there anything we had a take on that you disagreed with? Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments. Well, there you go. You beat me to the punch there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to make a short video of this. It looks like Damian Priest is dating Lana. Lana just divorced Miro, aka Rusev, when he was in the WWE. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff to say the least. I mean, it's been a while since they were Rusev was even in the WWE. They might not even know Damian Priest. They don't know how they met. But interesting that she's dating another pro wrestler. That's not good.
I wonder if anyone has information as to how Damian Priest and Lana met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Damian Priest, he loses the belt there, but you know he's as hot as ever with he and Rhea Ripley splintering off from Judgment Day. He's getting cheered wildly. It looks like a very successful babyface turn, and perhaps he has found some companionship in Lana.
Rolex, my man, great comment. And here's to you.
Oh no, was that a false report you just gave us? Were you totally just reporting an unverified rumor?
Yeah, is this cap? Am I going to make a video about this and people are going to be like, what are you talking about?
Oh, now that would be cheap heat. That would be total cheap heat. So very good. And one more. I figured we'd finish on a high note here. Sami Zayn. So much of what I love about the art of wrestling is encapsulated in this short clip. Unique characters and the dynamics between them, the legitimate threat of serious injury, and the skill it takes to narrowly avoid it. A collective emotional response from thousands of people sharing a moment of time, expressed uniquely by each individual experiencing it. That was one sentence. Holy mackerel. It's a beautiful thing. I realize this is a strange way to talk about almost getting killed.
Yeah, let's see the video.
This happened on Raw.
Oh, my God.
Braun Breaker just javelins Sami Zayn into a large office chair into a barricade at ringside.
Oh, that looks so bad.
Right? They apparently had a 2 out of 3 falls match on Raw that was better than their SummerSlam match. The SummerSlam match looked like it could have been a mid-card match on Raw. This match, 2 out of 3 falls, pretty long match, pretty hard-hitting match, as you can see here. This one apparently was the thing that Braun Breaker needed. Like, he needed a rubber match against Sami Zayn, and he needed to win it, and now Braun Breaker has arrived now.
No, you're right.
Sami Zayn did the deal.
Rolex making poetry out of chaos. That was a nice little statement. Oh my God. But then to read that, and then that's what happens. This is what you have to watch.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. He's being javelin launched. Now he ducks his head and turns, so he kind of hits upper back and shoulders first into the chair and barricade here. The chair is really the problem.
Yeah,
because it looks like he's ready to take the bump against the barricade, but that freaking office chair, especially with that hard plastic arm on it, gets in the way.
Do you think the chair was supposed to move? I think it probably was, and it was just there, and he hit it.
I think someone maybe didn't get the memo that the chair was supposed to be out of the way, because you notice no one was sitting in it. So they're like, hey, get out of the way. Don't sit there. And it just didn't register with somebody. Take the chair with you. Take the chair with you. Maybe they just didn't realize that Sami Zayn was going to be hurled like a javelin.
Well, I feel like they're going to at least discuss that with the guys in the corner or somebody. They got to be knowing it's going to happen. Oh my God. Maybe like it looks like the guy's pulling the chair, but then the way that he's pulling the chair, it just pulls it right into him.
I don't know. It looks like Braun knew about this spot and Sami knew about this spot and nobody else knew about this spot. And that's the way it should be.
Right.
The wrestlers should know what's happening. Everybody else should be surprised. There you go. We're showing this over and over again. This comes from Sami Zayn's account on X, at Sami Zayn. He's fantastic.
And then as we roll in here to the Italian goodbye, this is a section of the show where we say we're going to say goodbye, but we're going to hang on for a while here. Ziggler would have sold it with a twitch at the end after lying down. That's why he's the best seller of all time. But still great selling from Sami. Agreed. He's a fantastic seller, Dolph Ziggler. And then...
yeah, Sami just went for like, I'm out.
You can tell the chair wasn't supposed to be there. Somebody's denim jacket is on the chair. Why is their jacket on the chair?
It's like, I can't tell you what's going to happen tonight, but please don't put anything on the chairs and get the chairs the hell out of the way when they both go to the floor. Why? What's going on? Get the stuff out of the way.
All right, let's move on, Dan. Tom, what do you think?
Like, at what point does Sami Zayn realize that, oh my goodness, there's a chair in the way? Is it like mid-flight he realizes, oh, for crying out loud?
So let's change the graphic here. So that was, Dom, let's do the exit. So that was cheap.
It was
heat.
Cheap. That was cheap. We're not even sure about some of it. Like, we don't even know about some of the stuff we talked about